Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for Fantasy Premier League for the 2020-21 season. My name is Dan and today we're talking fixtures. So as a lot of you will know, the fixtures were released just a couple of days ago and I think it has changed my fantasy plans a little bit, to say the least. My Game Week 1 team looks a little bit different now we know the fixtures. So yeah, it's really important to plan for your first few game weeks in terms of who has the best fixtures. So I'm going to be going through the teams with the best fixtures from Game Week 1 to 6 to see who we can just stick in our team in Game Week 1 and just know that for a good few weeks they're going to have, generally speaking, really good fixtures. As a bonus in this video, I'm going to be splitting it into attack and defence, because when you're picking players who have good fixtures, there's such thing as a good attacking fixture and a good defensive fixture. For example, if you're playing a team like Sheffield United or Burnley, if you want to keep a clean sheet against Sheffield United or Burnley, that's going to be pretty good. So that's a good defensive fixture. However, if you're attacking against a Sheffield United or a Burnley, it's a little bit more difficult to get goals past them. They don't usually concede that many goals. So yeah, in that respect, there is definitely a difference, and it's very key to know the difference. So yeah, we're going to be going through them, doing them separately. We're going to start off with attack, and then we're going to go and look at some good defensive fixtures as well. We're going to do the top 4 teams from each category as well. So here is the beautiful table of fixture difficulty. This beautiful table was provided by Fantasy Football Hub. It's one of their features, premium features, called the Ticker, and it sorts the best and worst fixtures based on spread betting and predictive modelling. So yeah, it's crazy stat stuff that I actually have no idea about, but maybe some mathematicians out there or statisticians in the comments might be able to know a little bit more about what that means. But yeah, it's actually sort of actual based on data rather than me just saying, yeah, I think this is a good fixture, I think this is a bad fixture. Obviously, it's good to have hunches and stuff and question data if you think it's wrong, but yeah, you can't really argue with this too much. So, looking through all of these fixtures, you can see that there's some nice streaks of green here, and we're going to be going through the top ones. So this is attacking. So the best stats for attacking, the fourth best team with the fourth best fixtures for attack is Southampton. So Southampton have got Crystal Palace, Spurs, Burnley, West Brom, Chelsea and Everton all in a row. So yeah, Crystal Palace fairly weak defensively. Spurs maybe and Burnley maybe you're not going to score an amazing amount of goals against them. West Brom, however, not a particularly strong defensive outfit. Chelsea ship a lot of goals unless they buy a new keeper in. They're going to be conceding goals as well. And Everton as well there, really wildly inconsistent, and yeah, you can get a few goals there. Palace, I don't know what kind of that's the first game. I'm not sure what kind of Palace is going to turn up, because last season they were sort of known as a good defensive team all the way up until lockdown, and then sort of after the lockdown they sort of completely changed and we're just conceding so many goals. So yeah, I think that's why we're really looking at Southampton being a good team to attack with your attack. So what kind of players? So Ings at 8.5 million, he looked like an absolute beast at the end of last season, and he is the obvious pick if you want to attack these fixtures really hard. But he is quite a lot of money, and I am a little bit apprehensive about him. So I'm looking probably more towards Che Adams at 6 million. He does play less minutes, but when he is on the pitch, he does perform equally, if not as better, than Ings in terms of goal contributions, sort of how much times he shoots, how much he gets on the ball, and getting assists as well. So Che Adams is a really good player to look at. It's just whether a case of how many minutes he's going to play. But if he starts starting every single game at the beginning of next season, or this season should I say, yeah, he's going to be a really good option. James Ward-Prowse at 6 million is a great option as well, because he takes all of the set pieces. So you know, if these dodgy defences trip up someone around the box, James Ward-Prowse is going to be on that free kick, banging it in. He's a free kick specialist, and in corners as well, he's on them as well. So definitely opportunities there from set pieces. And Stuart Armstrong, really strong towards the end of last season, slightly overperforming his stats, but he's 5.5 million, so super cheap. So if you're debating between, do I want Alan Saint-Maximin or do I want Stuart Armstrong, perhaps the fact that Southampton, we now know, have much better fixtures, you might want to go for Stuart Armstrong. So third best fixtures for attack is Spurs. So they've got Everton, Southampton, Newcastle, Manchester United, West Brom and Burnley. So there are some really nice fixtures in there, particularly West Brom, a really good team to attack. Newcastle, if they are anything like how they were at the end of last season, shipping a lot of goals, then that's looking really good. Everton, again, really inconsistent. And yeah, a couple other teams there. I don't know if they're going to be amazing or not fixture-wise. It depends how much you trust Spurs. But Spurs, because they are such a much better, stronger team supposedly than some of the other teams in the league, they are going to find these fixtures a little bit easier. So you can expect perhaps a really nice score against West Brom, against Newcastle, maybe Everton as well, and maybe even Southampton, although I am keeping my eye on Southampton indeed. So Kane is the obvious choice. Again, really good form at the end of last season. If you don't fancy Kane, you can go a little bit cheaper with Son. He started really well with Mourinho last season. He was sort of the prize player, the player everyone wanted to get. Sort of just before Christmas last year. So yeah, he could, if he can recapture that form a little bit, he's going to be a really good option for Spurs to attack the fixtures on screen now. So second best fixtures for attack is Wolves. They've got Sheffield United, Man City, so not a great start there. But then they've got West Ham, Fulham, Leeds and Newcastle. So that run of 4 games in a row is really, really looking good. And if you've got a player like Jimenez against those 4 teams, you're looking pretty good, aren't you, against those teams, indeed. So, yeah, Jimenez is the obvious player. Again, there's an obvious player to attack each fixtures, isn't there? But the obvious player is always the most expensive one, so perhaps you don't fancy them. But if you were sort of thinking in your mind, who do I want, Jimenez or Ings? Then perhaps you could start off with Ings and switch to Jimenez in game week 3 when Wolves' fixtures really pick up. Or you can just go straight in and set and forget Jimenez, hope he maybe nicks a goal or something against Sheffield United and Man City, and then just look forward to that lovely streak of 4 games and just trust him and hold on to him. You could also go for Adama Traore. His minutes were managed at the end of last season, so I'm not sure. Jota as well, minutes managed, and he usually starts the season slowly as well. So if I was to go for a 6.5 million midfielder from Wolves, I'd probably go for Traore over Jota. But you have also got Podence at 5.5 million. Who did get a few starts at the end of last season, and he looked really, really good. And Wolves spent a lot of money on him in January, and I wasn't sure why they weren't playing him. But since he came into the team, he was looking really, really good. So he is risky. I don't know how many minutes he's going to play, but 5.5 million, and just the quality that player has, I was really impressed by him. So yeah, perhaps one to look at there as well. So our first best fixtures for attack is Leicester, and they've got quite a few sumptuous fixtures in there. So they've got West Brom first, Burnley, who, yeah, they could be okay, could be not so okay, Man City, which isn't great, and then West Ham, Aston Villa, and the very dodgy Arsenal. We don't really know what kind of Arsenal we're going to get, do we? And considering these are the best fixtures, and we've got the best fixtures for an attacker, and also last season's highest goal-scoring player in Jamie Vardy, it does seem a little bit written in the stars. If not for that high price, I don't know if I can bring myself to spend 10 million on Jamie Vardy unless I had a plan in my mind to shift him on after a certain point. So I really don't know. I know Jamie Vardy just scored so many goals last season, but he was really, really streaky. All of his goals seemed to come in sort of the mid part of the season, and then there wasn't too much at the beginning and there wasn't too much at the end. Not that he was a bad goal scorer at those periods of the time, but there was nothing amazing. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but you could go for Harvey Barnes at 7 million. You could go for Maddison at 7 million. Barnes gets rotated more. He plays less minutes. Maddison, although he's far more nailed on, he will get more minutes than Barnes. He hasn't actually got, I don't think he's got any goal contributions since around Christmas last year. So he has been a long time with nothing, no goal contributions whatsoever. So really not really a player I trust right now. So I do prefer Barnes, but he gets less minutes. So I'd probably be more interested if Leicester, as suspected, are going to probably sign a new winger. So if they do sign a new winger, I think that might be a player to look at, depending on who it is, what the price is, how likely they are to play. So yeah, let's move on to defence. And once again, we've got the same table, but now ordered by the best defensive fixtures. So who has the best fixtures for their defenders? Again, this is Fantasy Football Hub who have provided this table for us. So let's crack on and have a look. So 4th best fixtures for defence, Southampton. So we're seeing Southampton as the 4th best on attack and defence. So yeah, you can look at both ends of the pitch for Southampton, and that's exactly what I'm doing in my team. So Crystal Palace, Spurs, Burnley, West Brom, Chelsea and Everton again. But what I like about Southampton is they've got some really, really nice cheap options in their defence. So you've got McCarthy in goal for 4.5 million. I know a lot of people are saying, I'm not sure if McCarthy is going to play every game. And I know why they're saying that is because they saw last season's stats and said, why wasn't McCarthy playing all 38 games? He was injured. When McCarthy's not injured, he plays. So don't worry about that. If anyone's creeping in doubts whether McCarthy is a nailed-on starter for Southampton, he is. Unless the Southampton sign another goalkeeper, McCarthy will play. And he's such good value for that, so it's brilliant, really. Kyle Walker-Peters, again, really, really nice value at 4.5. I really, really like that. So yeah, if you don't want to go for McCarthy in goal and you want to get in on the Southampton defence, perhaps go for Kyle Walker-Peters. And then if not, Bednarek. Bednarek is he's pretty nailed, actually. He's really nailed. He's sort of going to be getting you 90 minutes every single game whilst he's fit, which he currently is, of course. Not quite the same attacking output as Kyle Walker-Peters sort of down the wings, but he does offer some attacking potential on corners and set pieces and stuff, so that could be quite nice. Third best fixtures for defence is Brighton, surprisingly maybe. So they've got Chelsea first, Newcastle, Manchester United, Everton, Crystal Palace and West Brom. So Newcastle, Everton, Crystal Palace, West Brom, and none of these teams are high-scoring teams. Chelsea and Manchester United are obvious banana skins there. But maybe if, again, the players in the defence of Brighton are so cheap, you can afford to stick them on your bench and rotate them in. So against Chelsea, you perhaps wouldn't play them, and then Newcastle, you would play them, and then Manchester United, you would put them on the bench again, and then for the next 3 fixtures, you would just play them for each of those. So I've got Ryan down here, Matt Ryan, 4.5 million goalkeeper as well, so a really, really cheap goalkeeper option there. If you don't want to go for McCarthy, then Ryan is this next best option, I would say, for 4.5 million keepers, unless any new ones are added to the game, which I don't think is going to happen at this point. And then Lamptey, who I really, really like the look of. I mean, if you guys have been following this channel for the last week, then you probably know that I haven't shut up about Tariq Lamptey for 4.5 million, just because Brighton are going to be playing with 3 at the back, a 5-man midfield, and Lamptey's going to be playing right midfield, even though he's listed as a defender. If you've watched my video before, you'll know all about my Lamptey hype. So he's really low ownership as well, Lamptey. So I'm sure between everyone who's watching my videos, his ownership might actually creep up a little bit, but the amount I go on about him. But anyway, let's move on. So the second best fixtures for defence is Wolves. Wolves a good defensive team as well, which is really nice. So they've got Sheffield United, Manchester City, West Ham, Fulham, Leeds, and Newcastle. So yeah, other than Man City, that's really good for defence, like really good for defence, because although Sheffield United are not great to attack against, to defend against, we like them a lot. So all other than Manchester City, that's looking beautiful. And to add to that, Wolves actually have a really good record against Manchester City. I think they beat Man City twice last season. Don't even know if they conceded any goals during that game either. So in that respect, Wolves looking very good defensively. I definitely recommend hopping on at least one Wolves defensive player. So we've got Doherty, who offers the attacking potential as well. Obviously, we said Wolves have one of the best attacking fixtures as well. So Doherty could be a way of getting in on the attack and the defence at the same time, because he does like to get some attacking contributions. And then we've got Vinagre, who is he's the backup left back, who Johnny Otto is unfortunately injured at the moment, and he's going to be injured for quite some time, at least till Christmas. So Vinagre is going to be playing at left back for the time being. So, left wing back, should I say. So he is going to be pushing up the pitch. So that's going to be a really, really great bit of value there. For one of the best defensive teams in the league, one of the best runs of fixtures defensively, Vinagre seems like a must-have, if I'm quite honest. I've not done a single draft without him yet, and I don't think I will do a single draft without him. He seems to be the second defender on my team sheet every time after Trent Alexander-Arnold, so that is how highly I recommend putting Vinagre in your team. And then finally, Saiss he's probably the only other defender I'm looking at there, just because he's cheaper than Patricio, who's 5.5. He's cheaper than Willy Bolly, who's 5.5. He's a good defender. He's probably going to play 90% of games, 95% of games, and he does offer a little bit of attacking threat as well. So I don't mind Saiss. And then the first best fixtures for defence, the first one, and it might surprise you, it's Fulham. However, Fulham conceded 81 goals in the Premier League in the 2018-19 season, which is near enough the same squad that they have right now. And they were only the 4th best defensive record in the Championship, so it's not like they were the top team defensively in the Championship. 4th is not that bad in the Championship, but is that going to be good enough for the Premier League? I'm not convinced. So I know you're probably shouting at me, what about Joe Bryan? Can't we put Joe Bryan on our team? For 5 million, I don't think we can. Fulham can have some great defensive fixtures, but I'm really just not interested in the Fulham defence at all. So I know I'm contradicting myself a little bit here, saying they have the best defensive fixtures, but I'm not touching them. But yeah, if you do want to touch them, then I guess that is a lady's prerogative. But I will not be going near the Fulham defence. And Joe Bryan is a trap. Don't go near him. So yeah, there you go. Those are all of the best fixtures for the defences and for the attacks. Thank you so much for watching. If you are interested in the tool that I was sort of using today, the fixture ticker, it's provided by Fantasy Football Hub. I do have a Fantasy Football Hub link in the description, which can give you 25% off a membership if that's the kind of thing you're interested in and you want to play around with the tool itself. There are plenty of other tools on there as well. So, yeah, I recently got a membership and well worth a look. Yeah, and so yeah, check that out indeed. If you want to see the worst fixtures for every team and teams to sort of be aware of to maybe not touch because their fixtures, even though they might have good players, their fixtures might not look very good. And I've already started work on that video. It's going to be out probably tomorrow. And yeah, some really interesting stuff in there. So that will be out tomorrow. So do stay tuned if you're interested in that. Subscribe if you're new around here. If you've not watched my videos before, that would be really awesome, really appreciated. Leave a like if this video you found helpful in any way. And that's just about it. League code in the description, Twitter and Instagram and stuff in the description as well. So have a read of that, see what you can find, anything you like in there. Cool. And yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to catch you on the next one. See you later, mates. Bye-bye.